When we talk about North Korea, the first things that usually come to mind are its strict isolationist policies, the secretive Kim Jong-un family, nuclear projects, tensions with South Korea, and its anti-American stance. But beyond these well-known aspects, there are countless things about the country that remain a mystery to the outside world. One area that often piques curiosity is the lives of women in North Korea, with South Korean women known for their striking beauty. Largely thanks to the country's advanced plastic surgery industry, it's natural to wonder how women in the North compare. Let's start with one of the more surprising and seemingly bizarre regulations in North Korea. Women are not allowed to wear pants. Yes, you heard that right. While it might sound strange, North Korean women are required to wear skirts whenever they step outside. The rule is enforced so strictly that a woman can actually be stopped and interrogated by the police for wearing pants in public. The idea behind this policy is rooted in the belief that skirts represent a woman's obedience to men. Women who wear pants are seen as lacking femininity and potentially rebellious against male authority. This regulation became even stricter after North Korea faced a birth rate crisis that reportedly led to an emotional outburst from Kim Jong-un himself. The low birth rate issue, however, has no logical connection to whether women wear skirts or pants. In reality, the declining population is more likely tied to the country's poor living conditions. Many North Koreans are so burdened by their hardships that they don't feel they can bring children into such a difficult world. Yet, instead of addressing the root causes, the government has chosen to double down on policies like banning pants. As if that weren't enough, riding bicycles is also prohibited for women, as it's seen as a sign of excessive independence. What makes this restriction on pants even more nonsensical is the fact that most North Korean women lead lives that are far from the delicate and refined image of a woman in a skirt. If their daily routine resembled that of Ri Sol-ru, the glamorous first lady who is often seen in elegant dresses, it might make some sense. But the reality is much different. Around 69.65% of North Korean women are part of the workforce, and the majority aren't working cushy office jobs or running businesses. Instead, they are engaged in heavy labor, often working as manual laborers, market vendors, or even handling construction work. These women work long hours in physically demanding jobs, often in harsh conditions. Many of them sell vegetables, fish, or meat in makeshift markets, many of which are unofficial, operating in the shadows of the government. Without proper transportation, these women are forced to carry their goods themselves, often hauling heavy loads to make ends meet. The image of these hardworking women being forced to wear skirts while performing such labor-intensive tasks is not only impractical, but also underscores how out of touch some of these government policies are. When discussing North Korea, it's impossible to overlook the unique situation of beautiful women in the country. Genetically, North Korean women aren't much different from their South Korean counterparts. This means there's a high probability that women with visuals rivaling K-pop stars like Jisoo from Blackpink or Karina from aespa exist in North Korea. However, possessing such striking beauty in North Korea can be more of a curse than a blessing. Let's explore why. One of the most disturbing aspects of this situation is the existence of the Jipumjo, often translated as the Pleasure Squad or Joy Division, as the name suggests. This group is tasked with providing pleasure to high-ranking North Korean officials. What's truly shocking are the strict qualifications for joining this squad. The requirements range from standard beauty criteria to deeply troubling demands. These include conventional beauty standards, fair skin, slim face, height of about 165 centimeters, and a soft voice. Age requirement, shockingly young, typically between 13 and 15 years old. Virginity, which is verified through medical examination. Disturbingly, schools often recommend female students for the Jipumjo. Each year, approximately 40 schoolgirls are subjected to the selection process for this squad. Those who are chosen are divided into several groups with different roles, such as waitresses, dancers, singers, and masseuses, including those providing full-service massages. The fate of these Jipumjo members is grim, extending far beyond the nature of their work and those they're forced to serve. The members of the Jipumjo typically face severe isolation from the outside world. They're often cut off from all contact with their families for up to a decade. At around age 25, many of these women are finally released back to their families, but under strict conditions. They must agree never to disclose any information about their activities during their time in the Jipumjo. For years, the existence of the Jipumjo was often dismissed as mere fantasy. However, as more testimonies have emerged, belief in its existence has grown. Some of these accounts come from highly credible sources. Kim Jong-nam, a member of North Korea's ruling family who died in Malaysia, spoke about the Jipumjo. Kenji Fujimoto, who served as a sushi chef for the Kim family for 10 years, also provided testimony about the group's existence. Beyond the Jipumjo, beautiful North Korean women face another grave danger: human trafficking, particularly in China. China is often the primary escape route for North Korean refugees. Tragically, many women who successfully flee North Korea find themselves tricked and sold into human trafficking networks. Those with attractive features are particularly targeted. A stark example of this is the story of Chiran. She only managed to escape from the man who had bought her after being forced to be his wife for 20 years. These two scenarios starkly illustrate the perilous situation beautiful women in North Korea face. Remaining in North Korea could mean conscription into the Jipumjo. Escaping to China risks falling victim to human trafficking. When we take a closer look at the lives of North Korean women, it's clear that many of them carry an enormous burden, particularly in their roles within the family. According to Yeonmi Park, a well-known activist and defector from North Korea, women in her homeland often end up being the primary breadwinners. In fact, over 65% of women participate in the workforce, but the unfortunate reality is that in many cases, they are the sole providers for their families. While the women work tirelessly to support their households, their husbands can often be found lounging around, drinking, gambling, or idling aimlessly. This dynamic, where the wife works to put food on the table while the husband contributes little or nothing, is all too common in North Korea. According to Park, it's a normal sight to see mothers and wives working long hours, often in illegal markets or under-the-table jobs that are not sanctioned by the government. This brings an additional layer of risk to their lives, as these women are frequently subject to raids by security forces. And tragically, some women face harassment or exploitation from those very same authorities. So their lives are incredibly tough, working to provide for their families, dealing with absent husbands, and constantly fearing persecution by the state. But the struggles of North Korean women don't stop at providing for their families. They are also expected to handle all the domestic responsibilities on top of their paid work. As Yeonmi Park describes, women are responsible for cooking, cleaning, raising the children, and managing the household. The weight of these duties is exacerbated by a deeply entrenched belief in North Korean society that men are always combat-ready soldiers. Every man is seen as a potential fighter for the state, so women are expected to serve them in the home to ensure they stay healthy and well-rested in case they are needed for battle. This militaristic mindset, once again, adds to the overwhelming workload women face. What makes it worse is that women are granted far fewer rights in marriage. For instance, upon marriage, women are required to adopt their husband's surname and abandon their previous family name. In addition, there's a traditional expectation that women eat only after their husbands and sons have finished their meals, a clear symbol of their lower status within the family. There are countless other cultural norms that further reinforce this gender inequality. The hardships faced by North Korean women are truly staggering. From being overburdened with the responsibility of supporting their families to navigating deeply ingrained gender roles, their lives are filled with struggle. Reflecting on these realities, it's a stark reminder of how much we should appreciate the freedoms and protections we have in more equitable societies.